Hey friends, SGT here. Before we get started with this powerful interview with V, I just want to make a couple important updates. Now, as we mentioned in this conversation as it relates to the Podesta #Pizzagate pedo ring, there was a bombshell that we reported about today. I mentioned it in this interview. It's that encrypted data has been found in the Podesta email photos. And this is very significant because obviously encrypted data like that is known as steganography. It's the practice of concealing a file, message, image, or video within another file, message, image, or video. And obviously, this encrypted data could lead to far more incriminating evidence of Comet Ping Pong and Podesta-related pedophilia. So more on that as the situation develops. But a breaking update that has come to my attention since recording this interview with V just this morning is the most incredible news that, according to Anon, one of their FBI insiders can apparently confirm that the intelligence community is able to indicate that John and Tony Podesta were in Praia da Luz, Portugal, on May 3rd, 2007, which happens to be the very day Madeleine McCann vanished. Now, you guys are all familiar with the police sketch of the two suspects related to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann and their uncanny resemblance to John and Tony Podesta. As we've been saying, if we can prove that Tony and John Podesta were in Portugal on or around May 3rd, 2007, it will be lights out for these Pedo brothers. And I think that's how we should refer to them in the future, not the Podesta brothers, but the Pedo brothers. More on this situation as it develops. I'll put the links in the more information section below this video. And without further ado, here's my friend V, the Guerrilla Economist. V, welcome back. How are you?
Sean, I'm doing good, man. It's great to be back. A lot of exciting things, a lot of wonderful things, to say the least, man. I'm pumped.
Well, I'm getting pumped too. And, the jury has been out on my side of the aisle as far as Trump goes because I didn't want to get too excited. A lot of people saying it'll just be more of the same. You people are being fooled. You're being played. He's controlled opposition. But I'd like to read this from my friend, the Wealth Watchman. He sent me this email this morning saying, SGT, we now have Jeff Sessions, Dixie's strongest voice on immigration, as Attorney General.
Yep.
General Flynn has also been made the National Security Advisor, two excellent outsider appointments. And the Wealth Watchman says no matter what Trump does going forward, he's put nearly a dozen patriots and anti-globalists near the very top.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that call that he did with Sessions, man. I mean, Sessions is great. Not only is he strong on immigration, but you can bet your bottom dollar that the reality and the potential of him going after Clinton just got a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And great pick on General Flynn as well. Now, some people are freaked out because they have that he chose that new CIA director. I forgot what his name starts with the Pobis, whatever. So they're like, oh, the guy wanted a Patriot. It doesn't matter. He's an underling. The CIA, the director of the CIA has to answer to the National Security Advisor. He's like the head honcho of all the intelligence services. So it doesn't matter what the lower end of guys does. You got to understand who he put there in Central Intelligence is a gopher boy. Is somebody who's going to follow orders. Okay, he could be a globalist, and he could have, at one point saying, yeah, we want NSA data collection, this, that, and the other. But the point being is that the guy is under the thumb. Like I said to a lot of people, look, these guys, like, people like, freaking out, oh my God, the whole Jamie Dimon scare that happened earlier last week. And, when I had to break down the whole entire thing of, why you would probably want to get some of these bankers, as long as you control them, you put your boot on the back of their necks. Because these are the guys who created the problem. They can unravel the problem. They can begin to unwind it so whatever we face won't be as bad as it possibly could be. So that's some of the advantages here. I mean, you could have some globalists, but the whole point is who controls who. If it's the globalists or if it's actually you doing the controlling. In the case of Trump, man, I mean, the evidence is clear as day. I mean, it's saying that Trump's some sort of controlled opposition. It's way past the point of ridiculous at this point, man. I mean, people are just. They're just wishing, just grasping at straws at this point. Look at it. I mean, the guy's not even president yet. I mean, this was so far what happened. Let me just count down what's occurred. Well, first of all, just the Playboy Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, decided to give Trump a call and said, "Hey, I want to renegotiate NAFTA." Mexico's done the same thing. Shinzo Abe showed up at the Trump Tower with a golf club, saying, "Here, you like to play golf?" And Abe is saying he's like, he's willing to renegotiate. Okay. Ford is staying in the U.S.
Right.
Apple just talked about, okay, yeah, we can make iPhones in the U.S. No problem. I mean, this is incredible. I talked to our mutual friend Harley, and Harley's like, the European Union, the Eurocrats, they're all in closed door sessions, crying hysterically because the game is over. If that's not controlled opposition. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't build up globalism for 100 years so you can have this global government with one world religion and one world banking, and then have the whole entire thing blow up in your face, and then call it controlled opposition.
Well, and the other thing is that we need to, when we see these things seeded by the mainstream mockingbird media, like Jamie Dimon's name thrown out, that was thrown out by CNBC, just
Sure.
as Ted Cruz's name was thrown out by Bloomberg.
Right.
So a lot of this can be misinformation, and
Oh, of course, a
I'm
lot
going
of
to
it
start,
is.
yeah, and I'm going to start to reserve judgment a little bit here as I hear these names thrown out from the mockingbirds because they can't be trusted.
Correct.
They cannot be trusted, and that's why their approval rating, even by the American people in general, the general public, I think is around, what, 9, 10, 11% for the mainstream media?
I think it was like 6%, man. It's
Is it?
horrible.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, the only person that has a lower approval rating is the president of France, and that's Francois Hollande, who sits at a lovely 4%.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's hilarious. I don't know if you saw this. I posted this at SGT Report just this morning because I just think it's just fun to watch. If you haven't seen it yet, I promise you'll enjoy it. It's the Young Turks election night
Oh, I love
recap
that.
from smug to devastated. You
Oh,
have
I
to
love
watch
it.
it.
I saw it. I saw it at least 2 or 3 times.
It's brilliant.
Oh man, every time I see it, I cry. I just burst out laughing. I'm in tears. I loved seeing Chunk Uyghur. I love seeing him melt down. He looked like a greasy Grimace. He looks like Grimace. That's who he looks like. He looks like a greasy Grimace. And then to see that Anna Kasparian, who is probably the most miserable woman in existence. I mean, she'd be happy if she was married and had a bunch of kids and just stayed at home and and kept her mouth shut. But she's just the most vicious, vitriolic little wench I've ever seen in my life. And then seeing them melt down because their entire worldview, their paradigm is over. The paradigm of nonsense, the paradigm of heartstring politics and emotional knee jerk reactions by basically these social engineered, mental hermaphrodites who are basically emotional hypochondriacs, man. It's over. That whole thing is gone, and I think reason and logic is something that is resurging, so wonderfully. And believe it or not, reason and logic are, and you're seeing a resurgence of masculinity. We're seeing the resurgence of oh my God, the patriarchy. Oh my God, it's a dirty word right there, Sean. But you're seeing this resurgence because let's be honest here, the globalists have been working very diligently to feminize the entire world. Okay, to basically neuter masculinity, to make it easier for them to subvert populations, the whole 9 yards. It's a complete blowback. And that's why I laugh at people who say, yeah, this is a controlled opposition. This is the bad guys. So let me get this straight. So anything good happens is the bad guys. Anything bad happens is the bad guys. What kind of worldview is that?
Yeah.
I mean, every force in the universe has an equal and opposing balancing force. You just can't simply say that everything's bad and everything's evil, everything's controlled, and then there's not an opposite to it. That's complete nonsense, man. You
Yeah,
know?
no, it's a great point, and I think the value in watching that Young Turks election night meltdown video is that you see how empty their rhetoric is. I mean, literally, they were so on their heels and so shocked by the fact that their queen was not going to be selected,
Right.
and they bought the polls, the fake fixed mainstream media polls, hook, line, and sinker. They were drinking their own Kool-Aid. They're so shocked by the result that the American people actually don't want more of the same with a criminal like Hillary Clinton that they were freaking out. And they were saying things like, and Chunk said it himself, and so did that Anna Vampire. They were saying things like, the American people are obviously sexist. They just don't want a woman president. And she would have won if she didn't have a vagina. And it's just such empty rhetoric when we know, because of the WikiLeaks Podesta emails, how criminal this woman is and how she should be in prison. And the fact that they're so willing to overlook her crimes, her treason, and her perjury,
Right.
I guess makes them complicit in the treason. I mean, otherwise they're just intellectually vapid and intellectually dishonest and morally bankrupt.
They are intellectually vapid, intellectually dishonest, and morally bankrupt. There's no doubt about that. Simply because there's nothing about logic with these people. It's empty emotional rhetoric and heartstring politics. That's why I was watching that whole entire meltdown. It was wonderful, and seeing their surprise guests like this, like the Latina who
Oh,
came on there
it's horrible.
and just talking nonsense. She has no business talking politics. This idiot doesn't know what the heck's going on. You can clearly tell none of them know what's going on. These are a bunch of beta males and feminazis up there, man. It's hilarious for me to watch that entire meltdown. It's synonymous. Look, 2000, at the end of 2016 is going to go down in history as the end of globalism, as the end of the left. It's done. Okay, nobody wants the safe spaces. Give me a Play-Doh and a coloring book. I need a therapy dog because Donald Trump won. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous, man. And I thank God. I mean, 2017, we got challenges ahead. There's no doubt. There's going to be a market. There's going to be an economic collapse coming, but it's not going to be as bad as it is, especially if we're getting all this industry coming back in. I mean, I can't. I'm not used to all this winning, Sean. I'm not used to it. Every morning, it's something new is occurring with this. This guy's not even in office.
I
Every
just
morning, I wake up.
I just saw somebody say that on Twitter. I'm tired of winning.
I'm tired of winning.
No, you know what? It is a real headspin, man, because had the queen of the New World Order been selected, had they stolen it for her, we would have gotten more of the same. And I have a
Yeah.
very shocking headline I want to read for you here in a second, which is extremely good news for humanity. But I just want to say before I read that, I want to play a soundbite
Yep.
which exemplifies these people that wanted that queen back in the White House. I want to play this
Go for
soundbite. This is from a video called Watch, the Biggest Media Meltdowns to Trump's Win. I don't even know who this is. I think it's a Hollywood actress, and I'm not sure which show she was on when she said it. But listen to this. This is so insane. She says,
"Get your abortions now, because we're going to be fucked, and we're going to have to live with it."
You're awake, by the way.
and then that was followed up by Rachel Maddow saying, "You're
Mad cow.
Yeah, Mad
Rachel
Cow.
Mad cow.
But it's unbelievable to me that, I mean, that's all they had. That's all they had was this women's rights, abortion on demand argument. I mean, that's really all they had. And then open borders. You're a racist if you don't want a country with sovereign borders.
No, exactly.
It's insane.
It's pure stupidity. This is the things that they rail against. The things that they despise are the very rudiments that make up human civilization. Civilization is not based upon, expressing your most basal carnal um, aspects. Civilization is built on creativity. It's built on certain levels of control, certain levels of modesty, certain levels of restraint. That's how you create civilization. There's no country in the world where borders are completely open, except over here in the U.S., of course, and a few Western societies. But everywhere else, man, I mean, you try to go, you're Guatemalan, try to go sneak into Mexico. It's not happening,
Mm-hmm.
So it's everywhere else. It's about borders, like what Michael Savage has been saying for years. Borders, language, culture. That is the strength. The nation state is the strength of the individual. It's so important to keep that intact. And here's the thing: who do we want to sell out to? I mean, we're the last bastion of Western civilization. If we don't hold the ground here, we've lost it forever.
Yeah.
When Western civilization goes, there goes our freedom. There goes liberty. And to get liberty back, man, that'll take another 100, 200 years. Because it took us 200 years to get to this point.
Yeah. Well, you know what's shocking is that these same people, and by the way, when she says, run out and get your abortions now, I mean, it's crazy
So
that the one
stupid.
thing that would come to her mind is she would lament the inability for women to get abortions on demand. And I don't even think that's anything I don't even think that those quote-unquote
it's so
rights are
stupid.
under threat.
I agree with you, man. I heard of some libtard crying on the air saying that Trump is for electrocuting gay people. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Where are you getting that? This is obviously an idiot who's never been in New York. Trump's been he's been pro, gay rights, this, that, and the other. He doesn't care. And
Right.
as a libertarian, I can give a rat's rear end what two consenting adults do in the privacy of their own homes. I don't care. Just don't shove it down my throat. I just really don't care.
Right.
So Trump's like, yeah, who cares? Whatever. Give them rights. Nobody should be needs to be discriminated from a job, from economic opportunities, or upward social mobility based upon their sexual orientation. Nobody should be punished for that. It's just wrong. It's just the right, legal, lawful thing to do. And here's this crazy nut job saying that Trump is for the electrocution of gay people. Where are they getting this stuff from, Sean? It's unbelievable.
It's intellectual dishonesty. I mean, it's just
Big time.
grasping at straws. And the fact that had the Queen of the New World Order been selected, we would have gotten more of the same. We would have gotten more of these. So, I mean, she's in bed with Soros.
Yeah.
We know that from the WikiLeaks Podesta emails. She's in bed with the Rothschilds. And the people on the left either don't know it or know it and don't care. And it makes you believe that they're part of the conspiracy to destroy this nation. Because anybody that would be for the Queen of the New World Order is obviously against the United States and the Constitution. And so now we see, because of WikiLeaks, we know that Soros is helping fund a lot of these protests. And these protesters, many of them are being bussed in. And again, now thanks to WikiLeaks and Anonymous and all the truth tellers out there, we see this old 60 Minutes interview with Soros resurface in which he admits to selling out the Jews and working with the Nazis and helping steal wealth from the Jews and send his fellow Jews to concentration camps. And then Steve Croft asks him, did you need therapy? I mean, for any normal person, you'd be in 10 years of therapy. You'd have so much angst over being involved in that. And Soros literally says,
was it difficult? Not at all.
No, not at all. I don't have any problem with it. If it hadn't been me, it would have been somebody else. That is the mind of these New World Order monsters.
Yeah, he's a complete psychopath.
Social
he's
Darwinist. Absolute social Darwinist.
Absolutely, 1,000%. And the thing with George Soros, his real name is Georgi. I like to make fun of him all the time. Georgi Schwartz. That's his real name. The thing with Georgi is that I would be careful because it's pretty synonymous right now that Georgi and Hillary are in collusion. It's pretty, a year and a half ago, Sean, I was on the radio and I said color revolutions are coming to the United States.
Yeah, you got
people
that
thought,
right.
What do you mean by color revolution? I'm like,
and
no,
the color is purple, my friend.
Exactly. And people were like, "Oh, it's going to be, blacks against whites." No. Color revolutions are basically political, proxy groups that are going to. It's basically a fifth column that's going to, come in here, try to, rabble rouse and destabilize the entire country. And they ran that program all throughout Eastern Europe with great success. They've tried to do it in Iran during the Green Revolution, and we've seen the Orange Revolution in the Ukraine. And I said the Maidan, which occurred in the Ukraine, where the U.S. State Department spent $5 billion overthrowing a democratically elected government and instilling a puppet state, which is right now turned into a failed state because these idiots in their hubris don't understand the dynamics and complexities of a certain nation before they actually go in there and try to stick their foot into there. So now they're going to do the same thing here. And Black Lives Matter and Acorn and MoveOn.org and all these groups, man, that's your color revolution. And what are the idiots? What are the bedwench of the New World Order? What did that sycophant, what did she do on her concession speech where she just popped up out of nowhere? What color was she wearing? Purple. Yeah. And what did Slick Willie wear? Slick Willie was wearing a purple tie. And then lo and behold, the next day, here's this protest being launched all over all these cities, well-organized. People are being paid $1,500 a week, anywhere between $16 to $22 per hour. Hotel and food expenses are taken care of. They're being bussed all over the place, caught multiple times, and the stupid idiot media is out there saying that these are organic protests that just randomly happen because people are upset. No. These are idiots who don't have a job, who are being paid to do this, led by these. And this is the funniest term. I can't get over this, Sean. It's the anarchist communist. How are you an anarchist and a communist? It's beyond me at this. Yeah. Talk about a confused person. Yeah. I'm like a gay straight. I don't know what is that.
Yeah. Well, no. Here's the thing too, and I've said this prior to Trump being elected, and it's this: had the Queen of the New World Order been selected, then the status quo would have remained, and their crimes would be protected as the criminals they are by the criminal AG and the criminal Department of Justice, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
With a changing of the guard, with a tilt back toward constitutional appointments and people that respect the rule of law, these people ought to be a lot more careful, because is it not possible that an Attorney General Sessions could try these people, come after them for their crimes, and potentially for treason? I mean, I don't even know what nationality George Soros is, but I know he has a residence in this country. Maybe he's a dual citizen of Israel and in the United States, like so many of these guys are.
Right.
But I don't know. But he is committing treason against this nation.
1,000%.
I think Putin's after him. I think Putin issued an international arrest warrant for that son of a bitch. And I don't know why we don't do the same thing.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I have a feeling come January 21st, I have a very strong feeling and I'm going to just go on record and say that I said this before. I have a feeling that Donald Trump will put out an international arrest warrant for George Soros. You cannot work with Putin and agree to work with Putin to go after ISIS without touching Soros. Soros's fingerprints are not only all over Hillary and Black Lives Matter and this whole entire color revolution that's happening here in the United States, as well as the dirt that's in the Ukraine. Soros's fingerprints are all over ISIS and all the groups that are in Syria. He wanted Bashar out. He wanted the destabilization. He's the key architects who called the Syrian insurgency. Okay, they calling it a Syrian civil war. It's not a civil war, and I need people to stop calling it a Syrian civil war because there's no civil war there. People who call the Free Syrian Army, they shouldn't be called the Free Syrian Army. They're not free. There's nothing free about them. They're not even Syrian. Okay, so let's stop calling it that. So Soros's fingerprints are all over that. Now, I believe he needs to put out, and I think he will, an international arrest order for George Soros, and then I think he'll also have the power because Putin can't seize Soros's assets because he doesn't have control of the bank wires. We do. Everything has to go through SWIFT, which is cleared by the Fed wire. We can freeze Soros's assets. That needs to be done, and then you'll see the boldness that Clinton has right now and Podesta and the other I don't know, the new guy that showed up who said he's going to have war against Trump. I forgot what his name is. They're all connected to Soros. They will wither on the vine. We just need to cut the root, which is Soros, and these globalists will begin to wither on the vine, and the message will be sent to everybody else in the game: do not screw around. It's like I'm telling you, Trump is facing the same situation that Putin faced when he ascended to power. When Putin came to power, Russia was run by the seven bankers, right? Mm-hmm. And the seven bankers under Rockefeller chose Putin because they thought Putin, oh, here comes lowly, quiet Putin. He's harmless. He could easily be controlled. And what happened? They forgot this guy's a patriot. He actually loves his country. He came in, seized their assets, created laws to absolutely cut these guys down, threw some of them in jail, and the rest ran for their lives. It's the same situation. And the only pathway forward for Trump is this aggressive pathway. There's no other way to do it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fight or flight, and we're not going to run at this point. And I got to tell you, man, here's the thing. There is so much information about the criminality of these New World Order puppets coming out now. It's coming out so fast, and I guess from Real Trump over at Reddit, you've got researchers numbering in the hundreds on the Pizzagate story, on the pedophile story. And I have some breaking news I want to share. I just posted this morning. This is such great news for humanity, guys. I can't overstate it. This comes from the Conservative Daily Post, and it was shared by State of the Nation, which is how I picked it up. And let me just read this to you. Just when you thought it was safe to go back on the internet, this comes from Elliot Bouges. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name. Elliot Bouges. He says, I've been reporting for weeks now that the D.C.-based pizza pedophilia ring that is being exposed based on thousands of Podesta emails released by WikiLeaks in the past month or two, it's being reported today that Anon, Anonymous, has found encrypted data in the Podesta email photos. And it's really stunning stuff, V, because this encrypted data cannot happen by accident. And these researchers are on the case of the fact that there is a very real DC pedophile ring in this Comet Ping Pong and the Podesta emails and the secret language they've been using as it relates to children. The genie's out of the bottle is what I'm trying to say. And these people will no longer be protected by a corrupt Department of Justice. So let me ask you this. If you're one of the Podesta brothers, if you're Tony or John Podesta at this point, are you not a little frightened of the fact that the Queen of the New World Order doesn't have your back at this point?
At this point, if I was them, I'd do a lot more spirit cooking because my days will be numbered.
Yeah, and I hope they are, because these people are absolute demonic monsters. Anybody that would hurt a child, harm a child, or traffic in children, as suggested by the Podesta WikiLeaks emails that the Clintons may even be involved in.
They may be
The
killed.
Lolita Express, and then, of course, the 33 trafficked children in Haiti, potentially through their Clinton Foundation. This stuff is literally, we're talking the pits of hell here, man. This is information
really
that comes
is.
from the bowels of hell.
That's pure evil, man. That is like, for me, in my world, in my worldview, in my perfect world, pedophiles and those who harm children will be just taken out to the back of the tool shed and have a shotgun put to the back of their head and executed.
These people shouldn't be walking the earth.
1,000%. I would not mind. I won't even say it, man. But if John Podesta, if I ever see the guy, I would take a shot at him with my fist.
Yeah.
But in terms of these pedophiles in DC, man, I have no problems putting a round in their skulls and sleeping well at night, because that's the Lord's work right there. Sorry, that's just disgusting.
Well, it's a global pedophile ring, and
it all goes back to Jerry Saville. Remember Jerry Saville?
Jimmy Saville, yeah.
Jimmy Saville, that's right. Yeah.
He was friends with the Queen and her disgusting son, knighted by the Queen, allowed to commit pedophilia against children for decades as a host of a BBC show, had access to children, victimized children, allegedly raped children, and was involved in necrophilia, and he was knighted by the Queen.
I think there was over 500 kids that he molested.
Yeah, probably more.
More.
And I'll tell you what, because these crimes are covered up at the highest levels, and you know what? Any of us paying attention to these stories now realize what's going on here, okay?
That's exactly why Putin said that they're not human.
Yeah, no, they're not human. And these people in power are given access to engage in abominations if they choose to do so. I don't know why anybody would. I mean, you have to really be wired like a monster to participate in these types of activities. But the ones who do are the ones who are then blackmailed by the intelligence agencies and the bankers that have the goods on this stuff. These people are all on video. These people are all photographed, and then they share it amongst themselves, and then they can be targets of blackmail by the intelligence agencies that could out them for their pedophilia. So it's a big hornet's nest of corruption, and it needs to be routed out. The swamp needs to be drained, and they can start with this pedo ring.
Yeah, that's where it begins. I think there should be a two-pronged attack between the pedo ring and Soros, that's also connected right there as well.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, well, you've probably heard the same rumors that I've heard over the years, which is that Bush Sr. had a penchant for children, that Kissinger had a penchant for children. I mean, this goes to the very, very top. It's even being said now that Clinton had been on the Lolita Express and visited Jeffrey Epstein
26 times.
Well, Bill Clinton, yeah, but it said now Hillary went 6 times.
I wouldn't doubt it. Her and Huma.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly Anonymous has a video of Clinton with a 13-year-old. Supposedly, I want somebody to release it, and hopefully they will when the time is right. We shall see, man. I think it's coming, man. I think a major shakeup is going to occur. It's going to rock the world. It's going to shock the world. People are going to be reeling with the discoveries of what's going to happen in the next few months.
Yeah.
What did Hillary say when she lost? I mean, she was screaming one time during that debate with that pre-debate thing with Matt Lauer. She was screaming. She said, "If this effing guy wins, we're all going to be hanging from nooses."
That's right. Yeah, and reportedly, she didn't come out the night she lost on November 8th because she was inconsolable, and she attacked Podesta. She was so angry she attacked Podesta, and probably rightfully so, because of his recklessness, all of these emails have spilled out, which really did help unravel her little kingdom.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to take very much more of your time here, V. I'm excited about the fact that there was a changing of the guard on November 8th, and these people who are victimizing children and victimizing the American people no longer have the protection of a corrupt DOJ. I think it's just great news for humanity.
It's great news, man. It's going to be more winning for us coming after January 20th. The most beautiful thing about this whole presidency, Donald Trump understands it is the alt media and whistleblowers that has gotten him to where he is now.
That's true. That is absolutely true. And he's got the honor to actually thank those who helped get the truth out, whether it's from Breitbart, InfoWars, whatever. He actually will acknowledge the existence of the alt-truth media, of the truth media, which is so terrific. And now I'm noticing a new meme. I'm noticing this in interviews on CNN where guests that share our point of view will say the corrupt mainstream media while on CNN. So
Oh, wow.
it's become a meme where the mainstream media is synonymous with corruption.
Yeah, and I think guys like us, man. I think we're the future, and we are not just an alt media. We're transforming. We are the new media, man. We are the new media. And it's exciting to be part of this entire paradigm shift, man. It's just truly remarkable.
Yeah, it is. And I'll just make this promise to people. I know I've taken a little heat in recent videos where, I had a little bit of a reactionary feeling about, hearing Ted Cruz and Jamie Dimon's names spilled out. And I just want people to know, I'm going to share stuff like that. I'm going to be careful, and then I realized it came from Bloomberg or CNBC, but I'm going to help keep Trump's feet to the fire because I want him to do the things he said he would do. And so far, it seems like he will. And that's
it's
just
tremendous.
Fantastic. All right. Well, you guys heard it from V, the Guerrilla Economist. V, I always appreciate speaking with you, man. You're such a straight shooter. It's always fun to talk with you. Thanks.
Sean, it's always a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much.
And you guys know the website, Rogue Money, roguemoney.net. And V, your YouTube channel. Can you shout out info on your YouTube channel as well?
Sure. It's just go to YouTube and type in Rogue Money, and that'll bring us right to our channel. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money, and check out roguemoney.net and get the new Rogue reports, our 2017 forecast, the year ahead. And that's it, my man.
Outstanding. And guys, check me out on Twitter too at SGT Report. Doing a lot of live in the moment tweets lately, and I'm really enjoying spreading the info that way. Thanks for checking us out at sgtreport.com, the corporate propaganda antidote, real news 24/7. Thanks for tuning in, guys. God bless.
Again, incredibly, I didn't think this level of market manipulation could be possible to try to keep gold from surging and the Dow from plunging.